words. And after that, he's going to welcome Mr. Aidan Jose to also say a few words. And after that, he will give the awards, different awards to different participants. After which we'll have several presentations from different people, including Asha Sabrina. Sabrina, I hope you're ready. We have the projector for you here. Without further ado, I'd like to welcome Mr. Agassi Dominic-Shio, the Managing Partner of Richard Watson Consultants, to say a few words.
Good evening, everybody. My name is Augustine Dominic Shio. Huyu ni mzee wa miaka karibu 70. Wash. I'm telling them that I'm just around 70 years, though young. Yeah, first of all, let me take this opportunity to thank everybody who is here and to welcome you officially to this occasion, which is marking the end of our exhibition. And this exhibition, as you know, it's organized by Victoria Attorneys and Consultants with its partners. Let me take this time to thank the partners. Twaweza, Mr. Aidan is there, thank you so much. Tanzania International Arbitration Center, Representative C. Alphonse, where are you? Is there. Tanganyika Law Society, I wonder if there is a representative here. The same guy, thank you Alphonse again. And the participating universities, which are several, and may I take this opportunity to particularly thank the Dean of the School of Law, Dodoma. Please stand up, Madam Kajuna, Dr. Kajuna. And she told me she's traveling this night back to Dodoma. Wish you safe journey to Dodoma.
Thank you.
Okay. And everybody who participated in this exercise. It has been challenging, it has been interesting. I remember myself, I participated in Moot Court in 1979 at the University of Dar es Salaam, Kuruma Hall. So from there, there were no like this one here. But I believe we as Victoria Attorneys, after seeing the challenges the students from law school are facing, and the finalists of the School of Laws in various universities, we decided to organize this so as to impart a practical knowledge into your minds, so that to know through our experts like Sabrina and the rest. I thank Sabrina and your team. Sabrina, stand up please. Let us clap for her. They did very well. Thank you, Sabrina. And Hilda, where is Hilda? Is she here? Thank you so much. And the other guy, Ben. Emmanuel. Is he around? Emmanuel, thank you so much for your participation. So we have prepared few certificates for the participants, and the certificates will be issued by a person from Yakuza, from Twaweza, sorry. Yakuza from Twaweza, sorry. Yakuza from Twaweza, and Yakuza will give a brief statement before giving certificates and other awards. And Sabrina, we're waiting for your for your final judgment, so that we can issue a certificate accordingly for the winner. So that will come later, Sabrina, not now. That will come later when giving out the awards. So, Yakuza, you are also, we have Mr. Walsh. Mr. Walsh from Barrick is with us this evening. Mr. Walsh, you are welcome. We thank you for participating, though late, but I think you got something from when you came in. You found the Moot court was in progress, but you told me at least it was something from what was happening. So I think you will have an opportunity also to give away in this occasion. So Yakuza, you are welcome.
Good evening. You must all be so tired of making the case for or against the problem statement and Gatronia and etc., etc. I tried to read your problem statement. I couldn't understand it, so I gave up. So I'm glad you understood it. And because you are in a position to help those of us mere citizens navigate the very complicated maze that is the legal, not the profession, that is the law, that is the legislation. But when, so I'm from Twaweza, and I'd like to give a shout out to my colleagues over here, head of colleagues. That's Entesh over there, that's Lawi and Theophil over there, and there is a young lady who's filming. She won't wave. Her name is Joyce. So I have the pleasure of working with these colleagues of mine, and they have got less gray hair than me, but they educate me, they teach me, they inspire me every day in the work that we do by their questions and their enthusiasm. So Ben asked me to talk a little bit about why maybe a civil society career path might be of interest to you. And I can see already some of you going, oh gosh, those are the poor people, aren't they? Civil society, there's no money there. So I want to persuade you. And when I was thinking about this, my problem statement to you is this. Are you interested in making money or making meaning? Are you interested in making money or making meaning? Do you want to be rich or do you want to be fulfilled? And the two things are sometimes diametrically opposed. You can be very rich and unfulfilled, or you can be fulfilled and not very rich. But I want to just share with you and maybe persuade you from my own personal experience that you can actually do both. You can make meaning and the money will follow. Yeah? So, I want to make 4 points, and these 4 are sort of the journey I've traveled on in my experience. Number 1, if you want to make meaning, if you want to transform the world, and you do so by transforming one person's life at a time, start early. Start early. I started early in my career just doing in-school volunteering, community service. Everything from picking up the environment, planting trees, or working and supporting children who were less fortunate than I was in the hospital in the city where I was studying. You know, handicapped children, children with mental disability or physical disabilities. You spend some time playing with them and you realize that you as a human being can give incredible amounts of joy to another person like you. And that gave me a sense of fulfillment and self-affirmation, that somebody else was appreciating what I was doing for them just by being present and being me. child's life. And it makes you feel good. There's no money involved. There's nothing like that. But that was so important. So start early. It's not too late. I know you're busy becoming lawyers, but law doesn't have to be your entire life. You can get involved in other things. And the second point I want to make is engage your own faith or belief, your religion, those things which are core to your being and understanding of how it is that you're supposed to live and navigate this world. Engage them in the work that you're doing. I did. I like music. And so when I finished my master's, I happened to get a job in a neighboring country in Kenya. And because I was still interested in working with young people, I was still young myself then, no gray hair, I got involved in the church where I was, and forming a youth group. And the one thing that young people like is singing, even singing in a choir, surprise. So I was engaged and involved in building up this choir in Nairobi. And it started very small, about 5 or 6. By the time we finished, it was a very big choir, and we used to fill that Catholic church every Sunday, 3 services. And the church wasn't small, just about the size of, just you know St. Peter's over there, about 2 of them. Yeah, we used to fill it every Sunday because they liked the music, because they liked the energy of the youth choir that I was there. And then I got an extra bonus. I found my wife there. She played the piano and conduct. And we made good music together. We got married and we got 2 beautiful daughters now, right? But you engage your faith, your belief in the work that you do in order to give what you are doing meaning, and it motivates you intrinsically, not because of the money you're making. You don't make money leading a church choir, I can tell you. Okay. The third one, and here I'm going to tread on some dangerous ground. Well, 7 or 8 months ago, maybe dangerous ground. Be political, small p political. Have an idea or ideology for which you are prepared to stand and defend. Just as you today or yesterday were defending whatever position you were on. Don't be just taken by the wind of the fashionable idea of the day. Have some principles on which to stand. And I, luckily, in my high school days, was able to meet a few people who stood up for what they believed in and were prepared to sacrifice their lives for it. In fact, my political awakening came again through music when I was 6. And I used to listen to Radio Tanzania Dar es Salaam. You don't even remember that. 1975, when Mozambique became an independent nation. And there were these songs that were always playing on Radio Tanzania, which were about the independence of Mozambique and Frelimo. So music made me understand what is Frelimo, who is this fellow here, Samora Machel, why is Mozambique celebrating its independence? And then in 1980, it was Zimbabwe's turn. Again, music. And when I went to school, in high school, I met young people like myself who were prepared to go to jail, to face solitary confinement, and even death, because they were fighting against apartheid in South Africa. They were fighting for their own freedom. So you can see how old I am. Because in high school, they were still apartheid. But these young people my age were prepared to stand up for what they believed in. They taught me a lot. So you too, if you make meaning, be sure of what it is that you really believe in. Is it equality? Dignity of the human person? Gender equality? Political rights, the freedoms of expression and association and assembly. Do you really believe in those things? And if you do, then be prepared to stand up for them. They will be uncomfortable. They will be uncomfortable. Ben knows what kind of uncomfortable experiences we've gone through together. Victory and Tuaweza. But you know what happens? You win on the other side. You come out on the other side having stood up for what is right. And you win. If you want to see how I won, I'll send Ben our Court of Appeal ruling that gave me back my passport. I was political. I took the government to court. Yeah. And they gave me back my passport. So stand up for what you believe in. It really is well worth it. Finally, you know what? The money will follow. The money will follow you if it knows that you're principled, when it knows that you're skilled and talented, and it knows that you are making meaning, you're changing lives, you're transforming society, the money will follow. Maybe not lots of it, you won't be a billionaire, but you know what? You'll be comfortable. I'm comfortable. And so will you be. And the world will also be interested in hearing what you have to say. And they will compensate you for that. Next week? Yes, next week. I'm going to go to a European country, actually a couple of them, to talk about data rights at the UN World Data Forum, at the invitation of the government of Switzerland. They looked, they found me there in Dar es Salaam, and they said, you come over here and talk to us about data, and using data to hold governments to account. That's what I'm going to be talking about. Next to the Deputy Secretary General of the United Nations, and the Institution General of Switzerland, and me. So, it's because of what we stand for and what we do that the world is interested in hearing, and what can we learn from you. And so we will want to know, what can we learn from you? And like I said, you may not be a billionaire. If you want to be a billionaire, talk to Mr. Walsh here, he has gold mining. But you will be comfortable. So don't worry about the money. Be good at what you do. Believe in what you do. And you'll be comfortable. So my final point is, I think this Moot is just a brilliant idea. Why did we as Troweza team up with Victory Attorneys? They came, it was a year ago, before Corona turned everything upside down. We had started thinking about doing this school because this country, this continent needs the talent that is in this room. You, to transform it. We can't do business as usual. But in order to transform the world, I think, and what the Moot has hopefully given you, are two foundational, fundamental skills that I hope you will take away with you, thinking about, and I hope you will develop. The first one, in order for you to, first of all, understand that problem statement and then write those memorials, it requires expert thinking. You're all experts, right? It requires expert thinking, the ability to research, to understand, to know what the issue is, to know where the holes are. It requires expert thinking. And yes, the law school will teach you that, but hopefully the Moot court experience helped you put that into practice. Expert thinking. The world is facing really important problems, from climate change to recovery from this pandemic, to inequality between and within countries. These are very complicated problems, and they require deep expert thinking to begin to solve them and to understand what to do about them. We're going to have to solve them together. We can't do it using thinking that brought us into this problem in the first place. So expert thinking, very, very, very important. And the world wants to hear more and compensate your expert thinking. Second, never downplay this, and the winners, I'm sure, will display this particular quality. And that is complex communication. Why complex communication? Simply put, this is your ability to communicate an idea, a complex idea, in such a clear manner that the world understands, and not only understands, agrees, and third, acts on what you have persuaded them to do. So it's not enough to be able to just communicate something, but communicate it so that somebody takes action on the basis of what you've communicated. Do you know who's very good at this? Advertisers. once read an interview of the chief executive of MAC, M-A-C. The ladies in this room will know MAC, maybe some men too. These are the people who make cosmetics. You know that one, sir? They make cosmetics. And they asked him, it says, why do you think you're so successful? He said, you know what, we realized a while back that we're not selling a product, perfume, lipstick, rouge. We're not selling a product. We are selling hope. Think about it. MAC Cosmetics is selling hope. And who in this world doesn't want hope? Huh? So if you're selling hope, both men and women will buy lipstick. If you're selling lipstick, only half the world will buy lipstick. Right? So you also, hopefully, have nurtured your skills at complex communication, at persuading the judges who are listening that your position is the correct one and that their decision should reflect your reading of the situation, your analysis, and your conclusion. That's what you're trying to tell the judge. Please conclude as I have. Rule on my side. That's what you're going to be doing. But beyond the judge, I was going to ask a question here, but maybe I won't. It's about how many of you have vaccinated. How many of you are vaccinated? And some of you are looking, you know what I'm saying, you're vaccinated. Do you know the ones who are not vaccinating at the January?
Yeah, I tell them every day.
I'm trying to complex communication here to persuade you to vaccinate yourself. But really, this is a complex problem. But it has to deal with our own public health and safety in the future of our country and the world. How do I persuade you to vaccinate? That's a complex communication problem. Yeah. So think about it. Those two skills, expert thinking, put it into practice. At the same time, this issue being able to communicate so persuasively that people act on what you say. The winners, I'm sure, will have displayed this. The rest of you, I hope you have learned from them. I learn all the time from really good complex communicators. So, good luck in your careers. I hope that we have persuaded some of you to make meaning first and then money later. Yeah? Make meaning first. Change lives. Transform the world. The money will flow to you. You'll be comfortable. I'm not saying you're going to be Bill Gates, Elon Musk, or Jeff Bezos, but you will be comfortable. Yeah. So you will be both comfortable and fulfilled. And that's a great word to put you on your tombstone. This guy died both comfortable and fulfilled. So thank you for your effort. Thank you for participating. Madam Dean of the school, next time we'll come to Dodoma.
Thank you.
Yes. And I really hope that I'll be seeing you in the corridors of those who are transforming Tanzania and transforming East Africa and transforming our continent for the better. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Akosa, for your presentation. And before we go to the next exercise, just to do justice, and as I told you, the dean from School of Law Dodoma will be leaving immediately after the awards, the presentation of the awards. So I would wish to give her about 2 minutes just to say a word of appreciation. Madam Dean, you are welcome.
Good evening. I don't know where I should begin, but yes. As the director of Victoria Tony, Mr. Shio has introduced me. Dr. Agnes Kajiru from the School of Law, University of Dodoma.
I would like to take this opportunity first to thank the victory attorneys to invite me as an invited guest in this very important event. But as well, I would like to congratulate them for for organizing this academic, I can say that it's an academic event, a very important one to our lawyers, to our young lawyers, to compete in the law arenas, to see what is practical aspects of the theories of the law. Thank you everybody who has participated in this important event, all the presenters, all the participants from the different universities. You did what you were required to do. For those who had not made to the final stage, we also congratulate you because you took your time to prepare what you are required to prepare, and being here, you are not here just because you're here, but I'm sure that you have learned a lot of things. But as well, it is a place as well to networking with your fellow students from a different university. I have not much words to say.
I was a good oralist, but it was the best oralist. Now this goes to a person at 18. Can anybody guess? Who do you think it is? Who do you think it is? So the best overall oralist award goes to Miss Catherine Cameron. Moving on to the third award. Now we had the written rounds. We understand that we just finished the oral rounds, but we cannot forget the written rounds, right? So this award is for the best memorial for the plaintiffs. You all wrote good memorials, great memorials, very lengthy research, great. But there was one best memorial for the plaintiffs. Who do you think it is? And the award for the best memorial for the plaintiffs goes to team number 105.
There's a little too high over here. You see that? Okay.
Now moving on to the fourth award. Equally, we have the best memorial for the defendants. And this award goes to team number 101. So now we understand that we went to the final round today. 2 teams. So there are awards for that. I know you do not know the winner so far. So I'm going to start with the first runner-up. Can you all guess who you were there? Can you all guess who the first runner-up is? Let me stand here. Oh, for the first run out. So you can, you know. And the victory attorneys National Moot Court first runner-up is Team 115.
This is the thing. And the Victory Attorneys National Court Champions Award goes to Team 101.
When I grow up, I'm going to study at the University of Dar es Salaam.
Without further ado, I'd like to welcome Mr. Benedict. Mr. Benedict.
Yeah, so can you guess the reason why I'm here when Edith was the one who used to announce the award? And can you guess why she's stepping down? The reason why Edith is stepping down is because as Victoria told me, we had a very tiresome task to touch someone who will make a very complex problem, I can say, which will make students not sleeping for a while. And Edith was the one who judged the problem question. So we needed also to award her for So for the students who you saw that the problem question was very hard, you must blame her. And you know where, of course, as Victoria told you, we met Edith, is also from the Moot Court. Yeah. So we spotted her from the Moot Court, we took her, and we are still working with her. And while you're still there, I would like also to welcome Rayson, Luca. Where is Rayson? And also, I also would like to welcome Emily. So this guy, together with me, they're the guys who work under me, under a lot of pressure to make sure that this event is happening. So I'll take the picture of them, and after my picture of them, as a Moot Court committee, I'll also welcome the Victoria team, the whole firm. Also, we take a picture together, and then we'll proceed with the other thing. Thank you. All Victoria team, let's all. I would like also to appreciate the Victorian team because with all them, this event will not be here. So we appreciate all the associates, all the partner and the team member, and thank you all.
Thank you so much, and with that event now, I can allow the Dean from School of Law, Dodoma, University of Dodoma, to leave in one piece. The rest will be continued. Don't leave. Edith, please. Asanteni sana wote.
So all the participants will get certificates, not worry. All the participants will get certificates after this event, certificates with all your names. In the meantime, I would like to welcome Asha Sabrina for her presentation. Asha Sabrina. I'm here. Okay. So you can all continue to network and everything.
issues are solved. Lawyers generally have technological issues sometimes. We're brilliant with the law, not always the IT. Thank you, everybody. I've been told I have half an hour for this, but I might have to shorten it. I might need a timekeeper. Where are all those bailiffs? Okay, you're going to let me know when I've got 10 minutes left. Yeah? Okay, perfect. So I was asked today to speak about soft skills needed for lawyers in the law firm recruitment process. Now this is, I think today you've exhibited a lot of those soft skills. The idea behind me doing this is, and this is a bit of history on me. Sorry guys, I can't hear myself speak if you're going to keep networking loudly. If you want to, you can network quietly, but I need to be able to hear myself speak. So my name is Asha Sabrina. I was a judge on the final. I'm an advocate of the High Court of Tanzania, also of Zanzibar, and also a solicitor qualified in the UK. And I've won lots of prizes for being a leading lawyer in Tanzania. I don't know why. I think I got on well with people. But I do not believe in politics with a big P, but I believe in politics with a small p. And as was said by our last speaker, and the thing that I believe in, and the reason that I am here today, and the reason that I live and I've worked in Tanzania for the last 10 years, because I was actually brought up in the UK. My granddad was Zanzibar Wakili, and I decided when I was 4 years old I wanted to be a Tanzanian Wakili. And the reason is that the thing that I believe in the most is this country, and the future of the advocates in this country. So I actually, unlike our previous speaker, I must admit, in my politicking, my main aim is to bring investment into this country. So I actually do transactional law. I don't do so much litigation, I do transactional law. So a lot of the things I do include negotiating agreements with the government for mines, or employment law, buying and selling companies. So it's transactional law, it's business law. So, this is why I'm talking to you today. I mentioned my granddad and the reason I wanted to become a wakili because of my grandfather. My grandfather, and this is a very important lesson I think to learn, today, and for those of you in the back, anyone in the back? Anyone in the back? Put your hand up in the back. Okay, there's something that is often said in transactional meetings, which is one meeting. Anyone heard that? No? Okay. So, for those of you in the back, those of you who want to become wakili, today there are 1,000 or more people admitted to the bar in this country every single year. 1,000 every single year. That's your competition. In my granddad's day, my granddad is number 125 on the roll. He was admitted before 1950. He died in 55. I was admitted in 2013. Between my grandfather's number and my number, only about 3,000 lawyers. 60 years, 3,000 lawyers. Now, every year, 1,000 lawyers every year. We have over 10,000 wakili in this country. We need more. But, and this is a very sad point that you will have to address, the populace does not realize sometimes that we need wakilis. As a nature, as people, we don't always go to the lawyers. So you guys are going to be fighting for two things. Number one, to get a job. Number two, to get the clients. It shouldn't be that way because there should be more than enough work to go around. But that's slowly changing. So today I want to tell you how to get that job in a law firm through your soft skills. I'm making one pleading to you today. I'm making one prayer to you now. You can be the judges. Please, when you come out of law school, when you come out of university, join an established firm, such as Victory Attorneys, such as lots of other law firms that we have, where you can get training. So when I qualified in the UK, before I qualified here, to be a solicitor in the UK, you have to do a 2-year training contract, where you're paid and you're paid properly. And the law firms need to pay properly. Then, after the 2 years training, you still can't be a partner in a firm, you can't be unsupervised, for 3 years. So you have to be 5 years qualified, essentially 5 years experience, before you can be unsupervised. And the really important point about that is that you're learning. You're learning from people like Benedict. You're learning from people like myself. Because it's very hard to start by yourself. So I'm making a plea, not just so that you can learn and be the best lawyers ever, but because, as I said, my passion is this country. I think this is the best country in the world, and I think it has the most potential in the world for development, and to be a leading country in this world. We also need to compete, and it's a terrible thing to say, and we had the Kenyan example. We were traditionally the best lawyers in East Africa. That's why, after Uhuru, we had the law school in Dar es Salaam. We had the best lawyers. Today we compete with Kenya, we compete with Uganda, and when there is a transaction that is taking place that's cross-border, Kenya, Uganda, Rwanda, the clients pick which country to go to as their lead local counsel, for example, or their lead international counsel. In Kenya, there are law firms with 100 lawyers. 100 lawyers in one firm. In London, there is one office with more than 1,000 lawyers. But in Kenya, there is an office with more than 100 lawyers. The biggest law firms in Kenya have them. The biggest law firms here, we struggle about 20 actual advocates. So if you're a client and you want quick work, where are you going to go? If you want it quick, economy of scale, have experts in every area, you're going to go to the bigger law firm. So we need to start competing. So my plea to you today, because you are the cream of the crop, join our Tanzanian law firms and help them to grow. You grow with them, they become institutions. Not just firms, but institutions. Not a firm run by a person and a family, but an institution. So I want to say thank you today to the organisers for letting me speak. And I'm going to teach you now how to join those law firms. So I'm going to talk about key skills for a successful lawyer. I'm then going to talk about a little bit about interviews and applications, but we haven't got much time, so you could always see me one-to-one. And then I'm going to talk a little bit about corporate structures and transactional law, because we've done a lot of mooting today. So part one, soft skills. So the first thing I'm going to talk about is the 4 standards that you should swear by, right? And this is what a lawyer has to do. So all lawyers have to do in order to get their clients and maintain their clients. In a competitive world, this is what the lawyer has to do. Therefore, this is what you have to show that you can do. So for example, I do a lot of international law. My history is, I came over with Clyde & Co, I worked with A to Z, Andrew and Kana, and I was a partner at Bowman's with Dr. Kapinga until about 2 weeks ago. I've just decided to take a break to start a family, have babies. So the other lesson to the women in the room is have babies before you turn 40, okay? Because it becomes harder afterwards. So I worked on very large mega transactions, like what we were talking today about in the mining industry. So what you need to show, what all lawyers need to show that their clients they can do, and when you're pitching to a client, you say this, is 4 main things. Number 1, be responsive. Right? Be quick to respond to your client and respond to your client. We are a service industry. Be responsive. That, in an interview context, also relates to answering the questions and empathizing with the person who's asking them. 2, be decisive. You never sit on the fence. Make a decision and stick by the decision. If you don't know the answer, you say you don't know the answer, but you know how to get the answer when you're in an interview context. If you don't know the answer with the client, obviously you have a couple of days, you're not in an interview, to go and look at it, but take a view and stick by it. Number 3, quality, important, but commerciality. This is really important. So for a transactional lawyer, what do you think makes the world go round? What makes the world go round generally? On a transaction, what makes a transaction normally go round? It's a trick question, really. Depends what the transaction is. But you need to understand, when I say commerciality, I'm not just talking about understanding business, I'm talking about understanding your client's business, or the industry your client wants, is in, and what your client wants. So putting yourself in the shoes of your client. You have to understand, if you're going to do the mining, there was a wonderful response today in the Moot, saying, look, how can we give the land back to the government, because it's already been mined on. And on the mining site, you'll have tailings storage facilities, you'll have a plant, it's already been extracted. That person understood the business of mining in order to answer that question. And that's how we argued that point. It was a very successful point. So you need to understand the business that you are advising on. So for example, I advise on telecoms, insurance, banking. I have to understand all those industries. And mining is particularly complicated. Oil and gas, electricity. So to understand it. So commerciality means knowing not just the law. When you're in your interviews, it's commercial awareness. Number one, understand business. So it's very useful if you worked in a kiosk or you worked somewhere. When I was young, I worked at Burger King. And Burger King is a restaurant, it's like Mary Brown. I'm not ashamed to say that I worked at Burger King for a long time. When I was at school, trying to make money on the side, then I worked in shops, and it taught me some commercial awareness and some customer awareness. And the last thing is timeliness. You have to be prompt in what you do. Those are the things that will mainly attract clients. So when the lawyers are interviewing you for your positions, they will focus back on what makes a great lawyer in the future. So the specific skills for you. Number one skill, commercial awareness, I think. And that's what we've just discussed. It's about understanding the industries, understanding what a law firm is as well, understanding business. If you're in any context, really. As a lawyer, you do not want to, if you're litigating, you don't want to spend 60 hours particularly on a brief and then charge the client for it and expect the client to give you that money if you're not being commercial about doing it. You have to be relatively quick when you charge by hour. What other key skills? What do you think is the next top skill for a lawyer? Any ideas? Communication, absolutely. You're cheating though. So that comes a little bit, it's with this one. But yeah, it's one of the top skills. I think they're all equal on this side. No cheating from the existing successful advocates. From the students, key skills for a lawyer. What does a good advocate need? Anyone? Any student? Anybody? Give me an answer. Tarag was talking, I'm going to make him, he's not a student, but I'm going to make him give me an answer. Tarag, give me an answer. Oh, sorry.
Research.
Sorry, research, yes. So research is a skill, but surprisingly, I put research and legal knowledge at about the bottom of the pile. When you go to an interview, you do need to answer questions. I'll talk about the areas to talk about. But all lawyers at a certain level, you should take as a given that they know the law. Research is important as a junior, but when I'm recruiting a partner of the future. So it's not just research, right? Soft skills. Attention to detail is so important. So important. And I saw in some of the submissions were good, but there were some typos. You want to avoid those typos, you want to prove you have good attention to detail. Listening, when you're in the Moot today, the teams that really succeeded on the rebuttal, etc., were those who listened to the other side and who knew what their own partner's arguments were. Attention to detail is really important, don't have typos. Proactivity also creates the thinking on feet, but showing that you're a person who doesn't just sit there and wait for things to come to them. If you have a problem, we as lawyers, we are transactional lawyers, we are problem solvers. Right? We are the prevention. Then the litigation lawyers are the ones who argue it out once you've already got the disease. So we're trying to stop the illness. That's what I say. So being proactive, being able to think what does your client want, think of the next step before being asked to. The next point is independent thinking outside the box. So if I gave an example, for example, of proactivity, if I was asked in an interview, I would say that when I was in I was the student union, law school president at my university. So I can give lots of examples of where I had issues and I proactively dealt with them, where it prevented issues from coming up. The next major point is teamwork. One thing I noticed in the Moot competition is where people were not good team players and where they were good team players. Right? You are not supposed to be undermining your co-counsel by trying to answer their questions, or trying to butt in, or trying to show that you're better. But there were some very good teams where they were actually just passing notes and supporting each other. And then when one oralist came back and sat down, they got the note from the other person. You can see good teamwork. Teamwork is incredibly important. I will not recruit somebody unless I think they're going to fit with the team. Yeah? Be a nice person. Do not be competitive against your equals. So obviously communication, this is extremely, and that's why I highlighted it double, because it is supremely important. But succinct communication, what does it mean to be succinct? Anyone? So I'll give you an example. My dad's an old Zanzibari, very old Zanzibari, 78 now. When he makes a speech, he uses these very long words, and I have no idea what he's talking about. No idea. And I'm pretty clever. I got like an A, A-level English, but I got no idea. He like researches them. But I don't understand a word of what he's saying, so what's the point of communicating, right? What I see with people who come to interview in particular, they want to show how smart they are. But how smart you are will come out from the interview process. You do not need to use long words. There is a very good publication I'll give you guys a copy of, which is like plain English for lawyers. Use plain English. I speak in very basic English. I don't even know long words, but I'm known to be a good communicator. So this is really important. You don't sound clever by using long words. My dad is very clever, by the way, if he's late. And he's also a lawyer. So interpersonal skills and relationships, really important. When you reach a certain stage in your career, what you need to be doing is getting clients. So you need to get along with those clients, right? People will come to the partner a lot of times, or the lawyer a lot of times, rather than even the firm. So you need to be able to mix and mingle with people, which is why going out drinking with your friends is not a bad idea, because you are practicing interpersonal skills. Please note that. I'm not encouraging the use of alcohol, I'm just saying generally, you can still have fun in life. Organisation, extremely important. As a transactional lawyer, you tend to do more organisation than you do law sometimes, depending on the kind of transaction that you're on and the stage you are in your career. Being able to prioritise, hugely important. You can have like 150 files on at once when you're a transactional lawyer. As a litigator, you take on less, but you could have a lot of clients pushing for you, and you have to prioritise what has to go in, and discipline backs off it. Cultural awareness is really important. When you meet me, although I'm not dressed that well today, so I'm a Muslim woman, you should not offer to shake my hand, apparently. It depends, right? It depends on how religious the other person is. But you need to understand cultures, and it's part of the empathy of understanding the other person that you're talking to. And that includes cultures in generation gaps, cultures in countries, even cultures between men and women. Leadership is important, but leadership is way below teamwork. So don't be I, me, I. You've got to show how you're working a team, because we lawyers tend to, and that's why I'm saying, don't be a sole practitioner, come and join a firm, you'll learn to work in a team. Other skills, and then research and legal knowledge. So, because I'm taking them as a given. You should know the law. I'll talk to you about which areas of the law. Now, how do you get those things? When you're going across to interview, it's really important that you are more than just the best student in your class. Right? Today you took a step. You did the Moot competition. The fact that you've come in and done this Moot competition shows that you are more than just the best student in your class. It shows you have great communication skills. It shows your dedication to the law. This is me, kind of, at my Burger King, my Mary Brown, doing my summer job. But I learned, it's not really me, obviously, but I learned a huge amount from that summer job. But show what other things you've done, whether that's in a law firm or in another field. One of the best trainees I hired from being an intern had gone to be a project manager at a NGO, like a very small scale, she's doing very small scale work. But I knew she could manage a project, which means she could manage a file. Not just photocopying or going to Brella when you're sent to do basic clerking jobs in a law firm when you're just an intern. Yeah? Student union I put on here, any kind of experience from your life you should be building on in your interview. So in your interview or your application, when you say you have these skills, you need to say how you use them. So write these skills down, I'll give you the presentation, and give real examples from your life of when you've used them. That's how you're going to get that job. That's how to exhibit the skills. So applications, I haven't got that much time. Where's my timekeeper? I don't think I've got long, right?
You have like 10 minutes.
I've got like 10 minutes, okay. So for the students here, applications, maximum 2-page CV, address it properly. What I would say is those skills, put them into essentially your covering letter. When I say address it properly, I worked at Burmese, Tanzania. Nobody knew the name of our firm. A few people did, but it was mainly Bowman's Law that people said. So in your covering letter, and when you're applying, remember you're going for that job maybe against 100 people, maybe against 200 people. When I was applying for training contracts when I was in London, when I was very young, there were like 200-300 people for a job. So it was competitive. So you need to, in your covering letter, say why you want to work with that firm, which means you need to know who that firm is. It can't be the same covering letter you send. If you want to apply to Victory Attorneys, the first line is, I attended the Moot court. I was so impressed by the Victory Attorneys team and their ethos and their ability to bring up young people and their excellent communication skills. Right? You don't just go, dear sir, I'm applying to your firm because I am a fantastical lawyer and I really want to work there and I think you will think I am the best. Right? Which a lot of people actually do. Some people don't even send a covering letter. And by the way, when you send an email attaching your covering letter, do not send a blank email. Do you know how many blank emails? Have you received blank emails before? See above, see attached. Right? You want the job at my firm. I'm not coming looking for you. You need to send an email. Dear sir, I'm very pleased to apply to the job at Victory Attorneys. Please kindly consider my attached application. Yours, faithfully, if you don't know the name, Sabrina. Right? And then you attach the CV and the covering letter and everything. Send your transcripts as well, if you're proud of them, and your grades from university, etc., if you're proud of them. I'm sure you will be. So it's really important that you are standing out from the crowd. So research them, think about where they're going to be in the future. Tell them in the covering letter why you, your skills, your aptitude, your experience, your qualifications. Be humble. Remember this. If you tell me you're the most fantastical lawyer ever, I'm not going to believe you. I'm just going to think you're a bit of a, I can't say that word in public. You're not telling the truth. Right? You're exaggerating. So be humble, right? Use facts. So one of my fellow judges, Emmanuel, said today that litigation was not about making stuff up. It's about using the facts and applying them and the law. So use the fact. I'm a strong student, having been in the 95th percentile of my class, or having obtained a 2-1 or a first in my degree. Okay, so then also I've said that about emails, a proper salutation, a proper sign-off. When you're going to interview, you should practice your presentation skills. You guys don't have a problem with presentation. I've seen you, you're amazing, you should be up here. So I won't go into that, but when you prepare, look at the recent legal developments, the cases, the website of that law firm, the cases that they've dealt with. Take a notepad and pen and your own questions. At the end of the interview, you should be able to ask them why. When you ask me a question about my firm, it shows me that you're interested in the firm, and it also gives you a chance to interact more on your terms. Also, if you ask somebody about, for example, if you're interviewing me, if you ask me, what was it like when you worked in X for a while? How do you compare the jurisdiction of X and Y? Then I'll be like, oh, he's read my CV. He knows who I am. So it also impresses the person. Wear a watch. You can see I cannot stick to this, I'm going to be honest. But when you go to an interview, wear a watch because it looks like you're in charge of the time. And obviously dressing, not short skirts. For the ladies, look like you would go to court. Yes, going to court. And some people got chucked out of my courts for wearing loud ties. Do not wear loud ties. Men, I do not know why you have this addiction to loud socks. Like seriously, anybody? Just lift up the trouser leg and got loud socks on? Oh, there you go. It's not about removing your personality for the interview. And I had this problem when I was interviewing. I wanted the people to know how wonderful I am and how I've got such a great personality. What it is, you only have half an hour in the interview. Show them that you know how to dress properly if you were going to be in front of a client. But your personality will come out automatically. Don't give too much of your personality. Think before you speak, drink water. I should do that more often. Which is a moot court trick. Say when you don't know the answer. In an interview, it's not in court, you say, I don't know the exact authority, however, this is how I would find out the answer, number one. Number two, I could probably make, I don't know the answer, I'd have to check it, but it could be this for the following reasons. And show your ability to reason. Because this person is trying to see, they're trying to hire you in your brain, that you can actually reason through things. Yeah? But you must say when you don't know the answer. It's a big problem. In this Moots, as soon as somebody says something, even if they're fantastical, they're wonderful. Fantastical is not a word, by the way. But if they're amazing, as soon as somebody says the answer to something that is completely made up and is not true, that person loses credibility, right? As junior lawyers, and everybody gets it, you may come across scenarios where there are mistakes, for example. You need to own up to that mistake. The first thing I need to do is trust my junior lawyers. You need to be honest, own up, say when you don't know the truth, say when you made a mistake. Yeah? Be confident, be real, but be professional. So on the areas of law that you need to know when you go generally for an interview, look at your own CV or ask a neighbour to. What have you said you want to do? If you say you want to do mining law, but then you have no clue about any of the mining law questions that you're asked, we have a problem. What did you excel at in school? Normally, what did you do worse at, what did you do best at, is where we look at your grades and ask you questions on them. If you're a nice lawyer, like Dr. Kapingo, who I work with, is a very nice lawyer. He'll ask you on the areas you excelled on. I might ask you on the areas you failed on. But have some basic ideas and basic questions. So the areas you are likely to be asked on are litigation, maybe civil procedure type questions. Lawyers don't have that much time. Land, foreign ownership of land, and corporate. Now, we have this confusion a lot in all of these moots, so I'm just going to put this up here. Subsidiary, this is important, and you understand, so when you're a transactional lawyer, you actually work in pictures, and I'll show you how in a minute. We've got a subsidiary here with a parent company, because it owns more than 50%, and a minority shareholder owning 20%. So you need to understand how these transactions work. So I would do a mock interview with you, but if you noticed the whole time that I've been talking to you, and most of you, you'll notice I've made eye contact with you. Yes? You'll notice I've made eye contact with you. At the back, I even pulled out Serrano for being naughty. In your interview, be polite, be nice to everybody. I hope you're a nice person. You all seem to be nice people. But don't disregard the receptionist because they're a receptionist, right? They're going to be your boss, at least for the next 2 years, essentially, even though they're the receptionist. Be nice, be polite, be on time. Most importantly, when you're actually answering interview questions, try and have eye contact. Show that you're a good oralist. Okay? Also, when I've been talking to you, most of the time I've been like this. I am here. I'm with you. I'm leaning forward. I'm showing from my body language how interested I am with you. At one point as a judge, I did it on purpose and I went like this. What does this mean? What does this mean? You're doing it right now. What does this mean? What does it mean if I do this? It's not because I'm cold. It's because I'm closing myself. I'm protecting myself, I'm scared of you, or I just don't like you. Right? Okay, the same thing we do, like try and sit straight. When you're talking, I'm not saying go like this, but show through your body language. You can look on Google, on YouTube for various examples of body language, but show that you're engaged. Because 9 times out of 10, your charm will actually get you through things as well. I found, not good. So normally I do a mock interview. So I think I'm actually running out of time to talk about corporate law transactions. But I would just say when you're looking at corporate and transactions, you may be asked, if you're asked questions, on the different type of business entities, advantages and disadvantages. You need to understand the difference between shareholders and directors, and how to tell who makes a decision between shareholders and directors. This is an example which was not picked up, which I was very sad about in this thing on our Gastronian mining local content rules. These are 2 structures that are permissible. But I'll give this picture to a client rather than spending a long time writing reams of information, because a client won't read reams of information. So this is the same structure as before. You have a subsidiary, a parent company offshore, and a Tanzanian citizen owning at least 20%. That's an indigenous Tanzanian company. The law then gives you another example in Regulation 8.6 of the Mining Local Content Regulations, where it allows you to have a JV with that indigenous Tanzanian company, and that's the second structure. So understand how these structures work, and I can show you how, but just basically between the parent and company. I think this is a lot of information, which I probably don't have time to go through, but I would say if you want more information on passing interviews, etc., you feel free to ask myself, to ask Benedict, to ask anyone in the Victory team. I'm not in the Victory team, but I'm just saying you can ask them. And thank you very much for listening. And do you have any questions for the students? Or do you want to continue drinking and having fun? Drinking and having having fun. Excellent. Okay. So now it's networking. Now you can talk as much as you want. There can be many small meetings. Is it more networking or is it? Is it really networking?
Okay.
I hope everybody is getting cozy and warm. Mr. Lucky Gimba. The next presentation is from Mr. Lucky Gimba. Welcome, Mr. Lucky.
Hello, everyone. My good names are Mr. Lucky Gimba. I am the managing partner of Godwin Attorneys. We are a mid-sized law firm and indeed a very closely related law firm to Victory Attorneys. So as you can say, whatever Victory Attorneys is doing is part and parcel of an activity that we personally take as our own. This evening, I am tasked with making a very short speech or enlightenment on the postgraduate legal career and opportunities that are available to the teams, specifically the students from universities, in the legal career outside here in the market. To begin with, I must say that all students that participated in this Moot at all levels are indeed very fortunate. This is an opportunity that has really done a great deal of training to each of the students individually and to teamwork for each of the teams that have participated in this particular Moot. By saying that, I'm sure that most of you would agree that you must count yourself most fortunate, because with us in the legal career out here, the level of professionalism that you actually see in most of the area where you expect a great deal or some high level of professionalism would really tell you that there is something that the professionals out in the market today did not gain or did not get during their legal training. And specifically, what they did get is a feeling, a sensation of the practicability that you have obtained in these few days. It is for this reason that I commend the vision that is behind the Victory Attorneys Moot Court competition, for having perfectly organized this wonderful event, and certain, even to themselves, has exceeded their own expectations. To most of us, since we're not there in the plan, so we didn't have the expectations, but it has been a wake-up call to most of us. I think I've had a discussion with Ben on how in the next Moot Court, Godwin Attorneys would hold hands with Victory Attorneys and see on how we can make this bigger, more successful, and have a mood that would reflect at a bigger magnitude than what we have right now. This would include from finances to whatsoever it would take. When we come to the legal career and opportunities, one thing we must all agree is that all over the world right now, the legal profession ranks as the most, or among the most noble. We all must agree. And apart from just being the most noble, it is also one of the most attractive professions. Why? There are so many reasons. Apart from the money part, which most people would want to talk about, but there is just a way that the legal profession tends to become competitive. It's one of those competitive professions in the world. And there is a perpetual increase in the number of people trying to come into the legal profession as well. And the reason for this mass attraction is not far-fetched, which we all agree as well. Apart from the finances, we know how meaningful it is for a person to be seen as one of the great successful lawyers in the world today. Being able to help companies, help businesses, help families if you're doing welfare law, being able to verge into health law, sports law, and having a great contribution in each of these sectors today. You can only do that, or you can be one of those many people who are giving out a helping hand in these sectors if you are a legal professional. Now, let's look at the opportunities available, which I think Sabrina has really gone into as well. I will just maybe put into a nutshell the options you have as a legal student and what you have in the legal career right now. The first option, I think, which is the most usual, is in private practice. That's where we Godwin attorneys, Victoria attorneys, I can see ABC attorneys is here, Mr. Sunday is here, Counsel Consultant, yes. So we have most lawyers as well going into private practice. So that is also one of the options you as a student have. Although, taking note that immediately after you qualify, after law school, you qualify for law school, you are admitted into the bar, you're not advised to open your own law firm. Technically, because it's not about qualifying. That is not the only bit that is needed for you to run a successful practice out here. You need to actually look and find a senior person, a law firm which has seniors which will help you, guide you, and shape you to what you want to be in future. They'll give you the basics, the know-how of what is actually needed in the legal practice. So this being the first option is, yes, available to you as a student. Apart from this, we know that there are also opportunities in civil services. In the civil service, you have state attorney positions, you have legal officers in government ministries and parastatals. There are also employment opportunities in the judiciary. You can talk of becoming a resident magistrate, although we all agree that anything above that requires experience and the requirements that are put forward by the law, which you also tend to appreciate when you successfully complete your legal studies. Apart from that, you have opportunities in private companies as well. These are in-house counsels. You can become company secretaries, legal advisors as well